Assassin's Creed 3 is an interesting game. Coming out in 2012, following the amazing Ezio trilogy, this game had big shoes to fill in a video game series that at that point was known for its quality. The setting was quite an interesting one. The American Revolution, a time of heroes and independence. Everything sounds good until we look at the final product. 10 years and a remaster later, the game still sucks. For the first few sequences we get to play as Haytham Kenway, and we get treated to a nice little plot twist. When you play this series for the first time and dive in not knowing anything, this plot twist makes things just a little bit more fun, especially considering how it offers a change of perspectives than what the other games until that point did. To see that you have been playing a Templar for all this time is quite an interesting shock, though I must admit that this plot twist can be easily seen thanks to certain clues that I believe were left there intentionally. In these first few scenes we get to see the Templars are real humans, which is something quite interesting considering that the Ezio trilogy focused more on killing them as opposed to the first game that presented a balance between the two factions. This game goes back to that balance. Haytham is quite ruthless in his actions, but he isn't devoid of sympathy or emotions. And his cast of friends also display the same traits, but for as good as this part is, the following part falls flat quite impressively. At some point in the story, Haytham sires a child with one of the American Indians' women that he not only frees but also helps get revenge on her captors. It's implied that the feelings they have for each other are mutual, but it is Haytham's ambitions that keep them separated. Quite interesting, right? Well, know that this was it for the game. What follows is the agony of a player that had to play as one of the worst protagonists in Assassin's Creed history, and I enjoyed even Jacob and Evie from Syndicate. Connor is the name of the new protagonist that we will play. Remember when I said they made the Templars seem human? Well, that gets thrown out the window in the biggest act of defenestration that this series has seen. As little Connor, you get caught and threatened by your father's friends, who after knocking you out, proceed to burn your village and inadvertently kill your mother. Connor then grows up and in a weird coming-of-age ritual gets to talk to Juno, who convinces him to take revenge of his mother's killers and become an assassin. So Connor leaves his village in search of the last assassins, Achilles. At first the old man Achilles is grumpy and doesn't want to train Connor, but then Connor defeats some poachers and convinces the old man to train him. It is this moment where our protagonist learns about the history of the assassins and the Templars. It's here where he develops his skills in combat. The path of war has been decided, and now you have to kill all the Templars that helped you when you played as Haytham. Abandon all hope of nuances and complexity because now they are just pure evil with no redeeming qualities. Now, that wouldn't be a problem if we were not already shown that they are more than just evil Templars. Sure, some can see this as a good way to present different perspectives. The Templars are evil when the assassins view them, but good when viewed by themselves and vice versa. But this fails thanks to the assassins never being portrayed as doing anything bad or being evil to the Templars, and in a way I understand it. Doing that would undermine the plot twist. This concept of perspectives is way better portrayed in Assassin's Creed Rogue than in 3. In Rogue you get to see the Templars are not only pure evil creatures intent on conquering the world, you also get to see the assassins are not 100% good. To Rogue's credit, the assassins are portrayed are more misguided than pure evil, as other Assassin's Creed games have shown. But whatever, Connor is going to take revenge and kill all the Templars. The missions are a mixed bag, some are decent enough for an Assassin's Creed game, others just suck. Hello, Paul Revere. But it is the reveal of an important details that turns the story upside down and Tombstone piledriver it to China. You kill your share of Templars, get sent to prison, save Washington from an assassination attempt, fight against the British, and after that Connor reunites with his father. They have an interest of killing a traitor that is helping the British against the Americans. So both of our protagonists go on this journey where the son begrudgingly gains the respect of the father, until a certain annoying mission pops its head out and shows Connor that both Washington and his father were using him. As Washington and Haytham are bickering, Haytham reminds Washington of what he did during the Indian War. This is clearly a reference to the burning of Connor's village. Historically speaking, that did happen. In 1779, during the American Revolutionary War, the Sullivan Expedition, under Washington's orders, destroyed over 40 Iroquois villages in New York, partially in response to Iroquois participation in attacks on the Wyoming Valley in July 1778 and Cherry Valley in November 1778. Now that the history nerd passed by, let's look at the mission that comes after this. Reveal that Washington was to blame. You have to stop some messengers from reaching their destination and ordering the attack on Connor's tribe. Once the messengers are out, Connor goes to his tribe to learn that some of his own tribe have gone to attack the Americans. Now Connor has to stop this conflict from erupting by taking down lethally or non-lethally his own tribesmen. And this culminates with a fight between Connor and his best friend. Why didn't I mention this best friend? Because quite frankly, he appears 2 times in the main story, first as a kid and secondly before Connor has his weird ritual where he sees Juno. Nevertheless, Connor wins the fight and kills his friend. Achilles, his mentor, is dying, and Connor still thinks he can straighten out his father and make him leave the Templars. Surprise, that doesn't happen. Connor kills every Templars member, including his father. You would think that this death would be treated as pretty important, since you play as Haytham, and for better or worse, he is Connor's father. But no, his death is just as remarkable as any Templar you get to kill in the game. Connor's tone and way of speaking doesn't help either, since I've mentioned that. Connor is probably the worst Assassin's Creed protagonist. Altair might be boring to some people, but he was the first, and he grows through the main missions. Ezio is one of the best characters in video games. Edward Kenway is pretty deep and interesting character. Shay Cormac makes his own luck and is pretty complex. Arno is almost as good as Ezio, almost. Jacob is funny, Evie is a good character. Bayek is cool, and his game has one of the best intros in an Assassin's Creed game. Eivor and Alexios or Cassandra aren't as good as the one mentioned above, but by golly they are not boring. Connor, on the other hand, is just boring. The way he speaks, even when it comes about revenge on those that are responsible for the death of his mother, who never happens to be Washington by the way, is probably the least convincing part revenge story out there. The best moments Connor has as character, where he isn't boring, is quite frankly when he interacts with his father, but that's because those interactions are carried by Haytham. Quite frankly, it would have been better to follow an already experienced assassin that no longer needs to grow as a character than to follow Connor. His character isn't helped by being everyone's pawn. Seriously, during the game, Connor is used by everyone, including Washington, who is responsible for his mother's death. Even his mentor Achilles cared more about killing Templars than Connor's village. Consider that Connor sought him out to protect his people. Hell, his introduction into the Assassin's Brotherhood isn't the typical one.
You weeks, and not even a goodbye before you left.
Sorry.
Well, what are you waiting for? Put them on. Once upon a time, we had a ceremony on such occasions. But I don't think either of us are really the type for that. You've your tools and training, your targets and goals. And now you have your title. Welcome to the Brotherhood, Connor.
This differs when it comes to the amazing introduction that you get to put recruits through in Brotherhood. La shaya wakiun mutlak balikulun mumkine. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. The wisdom of our creed is revealed through these words.
Leash ewakan motlak pelkulun mumkin. The wisdom of our creed is revealed through these words. We work in the dark to serve the light. We are assassins. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
I don't really consider Connor a proper assassin, much in the same way Edward Kenway isn't for the whole duration of Black Flag, but that's the historical aspect. Usually Assassin's Creed games have a modern-day story to them as well, and quite frankly I think it's way better than the historical one. While that might be true for earlier or further installments in the series, for this one it is. You get to play as Desmond and go through all the parkour elements you usually do as an assassin. They play quite well and are pretty fun. A good part of that happens in a cave where you must power it up so you can reach an object that Minerva wants you to get, but it comes with parkouring through ruins of a first civilization, so that counts for something. We also learn directly from Desmond why he killed Lucy, because she was a Templar spy.
I killed her, you know. I killed Lucy.
It was the apple, son. It was Juno.
I saw what she was. What would happen if I let her live? I could have stopped myself. I mean, there was a force there. But I didn't have to. I chose to.
Desmond.
Lucy was going to betray us and take the apple back to Abstergo. I saw the satellite launched, I saw them turn it on, and then... it failed. Whatever's on the other side of that door, it benefits Juno. We need to be careful.
There are some moments where you must sneak into an office building, a huge stadium in Brazil, and the Abstergo labs. The present-day ending sees Desmond make a hard choice, basically between Juno and Minerva. Both offered a solution, but Juno's kept the world as is, while Minerva's would have seen him become a prophet.
Why would they leave this behind?
Long have we waited for you to return. You have done as we asked. You have succeeded.
No! I have failed! My people are gone! Chased out by those who I thought would protect them!
It is a trade, a sacrifice, and not in vain. For you have found it.
This?
Now you must hide it, where none shall think to look, and then in time, what once was, shall be, again.
I do not understand.
Nor need you. Only do as we ask. Then, you may do as you wish.
But what of my people?
You have saved this place. as was your people's purpose. And that matters most.
It is not enough.
It will never be enough. You strive for that which does not exist. Still, you have made a difference, and you will do so again. Remember, you must hide the amulet where none might find it.
I know where the key is.
Then let's go.
Guess this is it.
We're right behind you.
Moment of truth.
Yes. Come. Here, at last. You know our story now. Of how we tried. Of how we failed. All our hopes extinguished. Save one. Your touch. A spark. A spark to save the world.
Wait! Do not touch the pedestal.
Minerva?
You. But how? You left. You destroyed the device.
Did you think there was only one?
What the hell is going on here?
You must not free her.
Free her?
Juno dwells within these walls, awaiting release. I will explain. While we worked to save the world, she sought instead to conquer it. She used our machines to set her plans in motion. Divination through numbers. There is a pattern to existence. To comprehend the calculations is to tame time. This was my focus. And so I built the eye to aid us. But she turned it towards her own ends. When we discovered her treachery, we put a stop to it. And then we left. But first we called to you, that you might try again. We thought it would be safe with her gone. Now I see we were deceived. She survived, she endured, and then she began to work. For centuries, Tinia and I walked the world, hoping to rekindle the spark of civilization. We shared what we knew as best we could. We were not the only ones, but for all the power we wrought, still death would claim us. But before it did, I would have one last look to know if we had succeeded.
That's how you're here now?
I had hoped you might find this place and finish our work. But it is too late. You and the Templars have squabbled over our refuse. You have wasted centuries, and so you have lost your chance. You cannot hope to stop the end now, Desmond. Only to survive.
She's lying! Only touch the pedestal and the world will be saved.
Better the world burn than she be loosed upon it.
Is that so? Show him then.
But he will not understand. It is complicated. It is...
Show me.
If you heed Minerva, the sun will have its way. The ground will crack and spit fire into the skies. All the world will burn. But this does not end the world, merely heralds its arrival. Darkness follows. Then you emerge, resolving to lay a foundation that such a tragedy does not befall the world again. You will become a symbol to those who survive. Hope, knowledge, determination. You will inspire them to rebuild, to thrive once more. And as the world heals, so too will humanity. But you are just a man, frail and mortal. You pass from the world, leaving behind only a memory. A legacy. You will be remembered first as a hero, later as a legend, and in time, as a god. It is the cruelest fate, to have written words that meant well, and see them made wicked and unwise. What was meant to encourage life, used instead to justify taking it. And so now you see that what was shall be again. So tell me, how is this better? She would sacrifice you, sacrifice the world, for no other reason than to deny me vindication.
They will enslave your kind, Desmond. Is this not why you fight? Is this not why you came here? To ensure more than just your race's future, but its freedom?
What future? What freedom? Billions dead and the whole cycle begun anew? This world has known nothing but heartache and horror since we left it.
Our gift to them, and you'd see it all returned.
Enough!
You must not do this.
Whatever Juno's planning, however terrible it might seem today, we'll find a way to stop it. But the alternative, what you want, there's no hope there.
If you free her, you'll be destroyed.
It will happen in an instant. There will be no pain.
You mustn't.
It's done, Minerva. The decision's made.
Then the consequences of this mistake are yours to live and die with.
You need to go. All of you. Now. Get as far away from here as you can.
Come with us. We'll find another way.
There isn't time.
Son.
You know it's true. It's already started. I need to do this now. So go. Go!
It's some sort of global aurora borealis. Never seen anything like this before. Eyewitnesses describe electrical storms and erratic displays of unusual...
It is done. The world is saved. You played your part well, Desmond. But now it's time that I played mine.
But this wasn't the original ending. What we have now is an ending that came to be thanks to the success of Brotherhood and Revelations. The original ending is a little more fun. From interviews with Desolates and creative director Alex Hutchinson, the original plan for the ending of Assassin's Creed 3, when it was only planned out as a trilogy, was to have Desmond and Lucy take down Abstergo in the days before the solar flare stuck. Desmond would have used the knowledge that he gained from Altair and Ezio as part of this. The game would then have ended as the solar flare brought about the end of the Earth, but with Desmond and Lucy on a spaceship to restart humanity elsewhere, similarly to Adam and Eve. Lucy's name was based on that of Lucy, the fossilized remains of what was believed to be one of the first hominini creatures in allusion to starting a new society. However, this ending significantly changed after the success of Assassin's Creed 2, which saw additional spin-offs before work started on the third main game. I thought that was fun and interesting, something to bring the hope up after the only good part of the story was the one set in the modern time. The historical story could have benefited from a better protagonist, one that wasn't a pawn for every single character that always knew more than him. Looking at the gameplay perspective, they tried to make the combat more interactive than the previous games, and for what's it worth, they managed to pull it off. Timing is very important to perform counter kills in this game, but something strange that I've observed is that in the remastered version of the game, the timing seems a little off compared to the original. Or maybe this is another Assassin's Creed game issue that can be solved by checking or unchecking the VSync option. The parkouring should be good, right? It is fun for the modern times, it should be for the historical times too. Kind of. The cities, in my opinion, don't feel that well done, to the point that I found it more fun to walk around them. This game is responsible with the obsession AC games have with boats. The problem is that it's not that good. It becomes rather boring, but I have to give it some credit on this part. It made ships feel huge compared to Black Flag. The game doesn't feel right. It has its moments, but those moments never live long enough to raise the overall value of the game. As an Assassin's Creed game, it's not fitting to wear the number 3. This isn't the sequel Desmond deserves to end his story with. It doesn't hold up to the rest of the games that came before it. Connor himself isn't worthy of being Desmond's ancestor. From the pre-RPG series, this is the weakest game. From the New World series, this is the weakest game. And from the original trilogy, this is the weakest game. Unworthy of being called the third installment in the Assassin's Creed series.